In the world of biopharma, there's this hidden bottleneck that's quietly derailing regulatory submissions. And here's the thing, it's not a problem with the data itself, but with continuity. So, in this explainer, we're going to dive in and really architect a solution. Let's get started. Okay, so let's just jump right in with a big question. As we're all looking ahead to 2026, what do you think is the single biggest point of failure in the whole submission process? I mean, is it the clinical data, the trial design, something else entirely? And here it is. The answer might actually surprise you. The real bottleneck, the thing that gums up the works, isn't the raw data. It's the continuity of the metadata. All that context that explains what the data means, where it came from, and how it connects to everything else. It's the story that actually gives the numbers their meaning. Right, so this breakdown in metadata gets us to the heart of the problem, something our source calls cross-pillar information asymmetry. And this becomes especially dangerous during that absolutely critical handoff from a successful Phase 2b trial to the massive undertaking of Phase 3. So what exactly is information asymmetry? Well, imagine trying to build a skyscraper where the architects, the electricians, and the plumbers all have different, slightly outdated blueprints. That's exactly the problem we're talking about. Critical knowledge gets trapped in these departmental silos, and that's where the cracks in the foundation of your submission really start to appear. And those cracks, those information gaps, they come with a very, very real cost. Now, it's not something you're going to see as a line item on a balance sheet, but it's a huge operational drag that our source brilliantly calls the silo tax. The silo tax is basically the technical debt that you build up by operating in disconnected teams. Think about it. Every manual data transfer, every just checking in email for clarification, every little bit of rework, it all adds up. And sooner or later, that bill comes due. You end up paying that tax through delays and, worst of all, compliance failures. And the weight of that tax? It's staggering. I mean, just look at this number. Up to 30% of a team's effort can become costly, manual rework, all because information wasn't synchronized from day one. Just think about the wasted time, money, and sheer talent that number represents. It's huge. So where does this silo tax actually hit you? Where do you feel the pain? Let's break down 3 specific high-stakes failure points where this siloed system consistently goes off the rails. First up, we've got asynchronous data flows. Your clinical data management team and your pharmacovigilance team are, for all intents and purposes, speaking different data languages. They're using different ontologies or data dictionaries. So when it's time to merge their work for a safety summary, well, what should be a simple task becomes this high-risk manual reconciliation nightmare. It's an absolute recipe for error. Okay, failure point number 2, the huge disconnect between manufacturing and regulatory. A small tweak happens on the manufacturing line. Simple enough, right? But because there's no unified system, the technical file doesn't get updated in real time. This creates what's called versioning drift. Your submission is now out of sync with reality, and bam, you've pretty much guaranteed an information request from the FDA, which means delays. And here's the third one, and honestly, it's maybe the most alarming. When a new safety signal is detected, how long do you think it takes for that critical information to actually make it onto the product label? The answer is a shocking 4 to 6 months. Just let that sink in for a second. Let's be crystal clear about what that 4 to 6 month lag really means. It is a major compliance liability, plain and simple. In today's regulatory environment, that kind of delay is just unacceptable, and it poses a huge risk to the company and, more importantly, to patients. So, how in the world do we fix this broken system? Well, the solution isn't just about buying another piece of software. It actually requires a fundamental shift in our thinking, moving away from just managing disconnected projects and toward architecting a truly synchronized system. And you can see the 2 approaches right here. The old way is all about juggling a chain of disconnected vendors and dealing with messy, risky handoffs. The new way? It's about architecting a single, high-fidelity workstream where information flows seamlessly and everyone, literally everyone, is working from the same real-time blueprint. So how do you actually achieve this kind of systemic synchronization? Well, the source material proposes a specific approach for this. It's called the Shooter-Sauna framework. Think of it as a model designed not just to connect systems, but to create true architectural continuity across your entire regulatory ecosystem. And when you take this architectural approach, the results are pretty transformative. You get unified oversight across clinical, regulatory, and pharmacovigilance, the very pillars that were siloed before. This totally eliminates that handoff friction, it slashes compliance risk, and at the end of the day, it throttles down your time to market. It's a direct solution to all those failures we just talked about.
And so we end here. It really all boils down to this one fundamental question for you and your team. Are you just managing vendors, or are you architecting a truly validated ecosystem? Because the old model is broken, the future belongs to the architects. The only question left is, which role will you play? Thanks for joining us.